let's talk about how the Harris campaign might be feeling. I've been citing this all day today, Tom. Senior advisor to the Harris campaign, David Plouffe, was on CNN last night at this time with Aaron Burnett. He says the campaign, they believe they can win all 7 battleground states. Now, is that what some political pollsters and pundits call hopium or not here? What does that mean?
No. I just, based on what we're seeing so far tonight, that looks incredibly unlikely to happen.
Okay.
And that's standard for any campaign. Top of the campaign, they're always going to say that. But look, we saw some of the early exits from NBC News. There was a lot of talk a couple days ago about the Madison Square Garden rally and the Puerto Rico comments really damaging Trump with Latinos and Puerto Ricans. Okay. That does not seem to have translated among the electorate, especially among Latino, the men, all right, and third and fourth generation younger Latinos. All right. So if that is the case, it's going to be a lot harder for her. Especially, you can't even talk about places like Arizona at that point. Nevada could be a little bit different. All right, Nevada is it's its own unique beast, but in Arizona, if that trend stays true, you can pretty much write off Arizona for Harris. And again, and then it becomes an issue in Pennsylvania. All right, you got to look at Allentown, the Lehigh Valley. All right, and you got to watch the returns coming out of there. That was the big concern. All right. Pennsylvania is really a must win for Harris. Okay. It's not as much of a must win for Trump, but for Harris, it looks like she needs that blue wall to hold.
Sure.
Before we go, Tom, I got to ask you about Puerto Ricans, because there's an interesting statistic coming out of Osceola County. This is just south of Orlando. Right now, Trump, with 95% of the votes counted, Trump has 50%, Harris 48%. So Trump's up by 2 points. If I'm looking back 4 years ago, Biden won Osceola County by 14 points. So we're seeing a sizable shift. This county is important because I believe around a third of the population there are Puerto Ricans. What do you make of Trump seeming to gain some ground in a county like this?
Yeah. One of the big things, and this is really important, we had Mike Madrid on the Ground Game podcast recently. He specializes in Latino voters. Look at the way Trump talks about immigration, the wall, wanting to crack down on immigration. Especially, of course, now we should note here, of course, that Puerto Ricans are Americans. All right. But culturally, the problem was Tony Hinchcliffe dumping on the entire culture. It was very racist. Trump, if you listen to him, he talks a lot about illegal immigration. And among Latino voters, especially people who have been here 3 and 4 generations deep now, all right, they agree with that. And you start to see that movement among the younger Latinos towards Trump. And that's really key in understanding this dynamic. You also got to remember too, especially for Latinos, large South American population, Colombian, Venezuelans, Cubans are getting older now, or the expats down in Florida, very traditionally conservative, socially conservative. And you got a lot of that down in South Florida. Okay. So when we talk about voter groups, no group is a monolith. And sometimes Democrats seem to forget that.
All right. Tom LoBianco with 24 Sight. Tom, can't thank you enough. This entire year, you've been so instrumental.
Thank you, guys.
Austin, thank you, too. We're going to take our final commercial break of this hour. More results where that came from. We're also going out live to the Trump Vance Watch Party in West Palm Beach. Some of our reporters standing by. We'll see you in 2 minutes. And welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andrew Kraft. Thanks for being with us here as we approach yet the top of a new hour. In the meantime, like I said before the break, let's go out now live to West Palm Beach, Florida, to the Trump-Vance election night watch party. That's where we find Fox News' Rebecca Castor with the latest there. Rebecca, good to see you here. How's the energy there in the room?
Hey, Andrew. Well, of course, with this being filled with Trump supporters, they are excited and encouraged. The Trump campaign advisors, they tell us that they feel they're on track for a good night. They're encouraged by some of this exit polling that is coming in. The supporters here, they cheer every time a state is called for the former president. Trump, though, is watching this all go down from Mar-a-Lago, where he's watching the returns come in with family and friends. Former President Trump is spending election night where he kicked off his campaign in Palm Beach, alongside one of his biggest supporters, Elon Musk. And his team is feeling confident they can secure the magic number of 270 electoral votes.
For early voting, it was definitely, we didn't have as much male turnout, and that's not just for our party, that's for any party in terms of voting. But after today, we're seeing a change, and we're seeing such optimism.
Millions of voters braved long lines to cast their ballots, each with different issues in mind.
Under a new Trump administration, I think we're going to have more secure borders.
We have everything going for us. But we're going to lose a lot of that if Trump wins.
But with the race neck and neck, it could be days before we know the final results. During a visit to thank his campaign staff, the former president expressed his frustration with the vote counting process.
They should do paper ballots, same-day voting, voter ID, and be done. One day, same day. And you'd have it by 10 o'clock.
No matter the outcome, the winner of this election will have a challenging task on the first day of their administration.
One of the most important jobs of whoever the president-elect is going to be has got to be unifying the country.
Donald Trump was asked earlier today if he'll accept the results of this election if he loses. He said, if it's, quote, a fair election, I'll be the first to acknowledge it. Andrew, back to you.
So, Rebecca, I had a question because remember, a lot of reporters have been asking Trump whether or not he would be voting in favor of Amendment Question 3 and 4 on marijuana.